I'm Sara, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I make videos about applied behavior analysis, or ABA, and how it can be used to help children with autism. Today I'm continuing where I left off on my last video, which was about preference assessments. Since ABA is all about reinforcing skills and other desired behaviors, we have to know what to use to reinforce those behaviors. We figure this out using preference assessments. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. We already talked about indirect preference assessments, free operant preference assessments, and single stimulus preference assessments. Today, let's talk about multiple stimulus and paired stimulus preference assessments. For the multiple stimulus preference assessment, you would present multiple tangible reinforcers to the learner in an array simultaneously and allow the learner to select one. There are two subtypes of the multiple stimulus preference assessment, with and without replacement. The without replacement subtype means that after the learner selects an item from the array, you would remove it from the array and then represent the array again without the item that was previously selected, and then see what the learner selects next. You repeat this process until all the items have been selected, and then rank them in the order in which the learner selected them. The idea here is that the item that was selected first is most likely to function as a reinforcer, while the item selected last is least likely. The with replacement subtype tends to work better when you're assessing the learner's preference for different foods, but it can work for other tangible items too. This subtype is difficult to explain, so I'm going to directly quote the description from the Evidence-Based Instructional Practices website from Vanderbilt University, which I will link to in the description. After the child plays with or consumes the item, the teacher replaces that same item in the array and replaces the unselected items with new ones. Each time the teacher presents the array, this is known as one trial. The teacher repeats trials until the set number of trials is complete. For example, after every item has been presented at least twice, or until the child refuses to make any further selections. Typically, the items the child selects during the most number of trials are the child's highest preferred items of the array, and the items the child selects for the fewest number of trials are the child's lowest preferred items. Another type of preference assessment is the paired stimulus preference assessment, which is better for learners who aren't able to visually scan larger arrays. For this type of preference assessment, you present two items at a time and ask the learner to select one. You would repeat this process until you've presented every item with every other item at least once, and then you count how many times each item was selected. You then rank the items according to how many times each one was selected. The ones selected more often are more likely to function as reinforcers. Make sure that when you're presenting items in an array for a preference assessment, that you vary the position of each item in the array each trial to ensure that the learner is selecting according to their preference and not according to the position of the item in the array, which is known as side bias. Like I said in the last video, even if a preference assessment indicates that something might be a reinforcer, you won't know for sure until you collect data on the behavior you're trying to increase and see that it is in fact increasing when you use that item as a reinforcer. You should conduct preference assessments on a recurring basis for every learner because preferences change over time. And that's part 2 of my overview on preference assessments. I'll leave some links in the description to where you can find more information about this topic. Please leave questions and comments down below. If you want to connect with me, you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'll leave the link in the description below as well. Thank you for watching.